Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are already in game number 2 right here. We, of course, are going to be advancing into the round of 32. These are best of 1, that is, single elimination matches. So, ladies and gentlemen, new game, new series, and new teams. We have SSIC Revolution on the blue side, whereas totally worth it is going to be on the red/purple team this time around. And already picks and bans going down all around. Very similar to what we saw in game number 1. So, very interestingly enough, the same kind of champions being valid, except for the fact that we have a Galio and a Jax being banned out. And I don't know if those are specifically choices against totally worth it, or if it's just something that SSIC Revolution does not want to have to deal with for a specific team composition. Jax, of course, is a very powerful top laner, has a little bit of a presence in the jungle, of course, has a stun with an AoE for his E now. He also has the only champion to have dodge in the game still, so he's a very powerful top laner, a bruiser that can deal two different types of damage they really don't want to have to deal with. Galio, a very powerful mid lane champion, is basically the magic resistance tank. Of course, his AoE ultimate is going to be taunting everybody into attacking him, and once he's taken enough harassment of his own kind, he's going to release it back in force on everybody else around him. So, of course, a very decent choice for Galio as well. Blitzcrank, Malphite, Alistar, and Shen all banned out in last game from 2 different teams, and these teams pretty much value him the same. But here we go, getting some very interesting jungle picks right off the bat. This lets Nautilus and Nocturne be open for both teams. First pick going to Nautilus, second pick going to Nocturne. We do see Soraka being picked up as well, as what I would assume is going to be the support character for Team Totally Worth It. So I'm just going to keep saying totally worth it in that that surfer dude kind of voice, because I think that's how it should be said all the time. But anyway, we see a Soraka pick being picked up, a very nice sustained support. Of course, she has the global wish, which will heal everybody on her team. So it's a very, very useful tool to have. But on top of that, I mean, you have to also think about the fact that this now nullifies the choice of like a Karthus out of the mid lane, who if they want to be going for that global comp kind of presence. And interestingly enough, we see a Janna and a Caitlyn. Now, Caitlyn isn't someone we have seen on play a lot. She does have a very, very large range. However, she's going to be very, very squishy as well. She has a little bit of a hard time getting in and out of places. She has the net for a little bit of mobility, and of course those Yordle snap traps to try to stun anybody advancing towards her. But she's a little susceptible to gank. Someone like a Janna, who has a lot of dispositioning, crowd control, could be the kind of fix that she needs. The shield, of course, is going to proc extra damage on the Caitlyn, and if she gets a headshot with 250% extra damage on top of the BF sword in Janna's shield that she'll be giving her, that is going to be a lot of potential damage coming out from Caitlyn in the bottom lane. They're going to be going against a Corki who can get a little aggressive and is going to be able to keep spamming spells like the Gatling gun and the phosphorus bomb with his Soraka support continuously giving him mana. And we do see a card that's actually being picked up by Totally Worth It, as they now have 2 global ultimates. They have a Nocturne ultimate, which is not quite global, but still has the potential to be involved in that kind of team composition, and a Corki, who is their range carry. Of course, is going to be able to have a ridiculous amount of poke. Combining that with Karthus poke, and of course Nocturne's Q, is going to be a very deadly composition. Meanwhile, on the side of SSIC Revolution, we do have Gangplank being picked up for their top lane choice, and Anivia, once again, another Anivia being picked up in these amateur games. A lot of players have been using that wall very effectively. We saw last game, Pro Caliber League of Legends, Anivia was placing walls at godlike angles in order to just kind of stop people from advancing and getting them stuck into corners, predicting mobility. It was ridiculous. So we're going to have to see if, I'm not even going to pronounce that name, is going to play that Anivia into some sort of same effect that we saw in the last game. However, Gangplank has been redone a little bit. I believe his Q is a bit better now, as it is not only going to be giving him extra gold when he parlays minions, but if he gets the killing blow, he'll be refunding him with a little bit of extra mana. We saw how well that does for an Aurelia choice. See if Gangplank has the same kind of effect right now. And the last champion being selected for Totally Worth It is going to be Rumble. Rumble was banned out last game. I was talking about how he's become sort of like this AP bruiser in top lane that a lot of champions just don't want to deal with. He has a decent amount of pushing power. He's kind of tanky, not necessarily the tankiest champion in the world. You know, some people view him as squishy. He does have a shield though, so you can't really count anybody with a shield as squishy, but he is going to be able to be using that shield in order to buff his movement speed as well, so you can get out of some sticky situations. You know, if you're a master controlling his heat mechanic, he's a very deadly champion. If not, well, you still have a very highly mobile and pushing champion. On top of the fact that his equalizer is an ultimate, if he lands it down in the middle of a team fight, everybody has to scatter, otherwise people are going to wind up dying almost instantly. So if you actually have the Karthus in team fights who's going to be trying to disposition people, the Nocturne who's going to ultimate in and disposition people, and then the Rumble to lay down the Equalizer for people to run through, they have a pretty solid team composition once again to the team fighting phases. While I was looking at Acerbic Revolution, the Janna's going to be able to disposition everybody into different team fights. Nautilus is a crowd control monster out of the jungle, so you can never count on a team with Nautilus to be in a bad position in a team fight because he has so much crowd control that it's just insane. I mean, he has so much crowd control, it makes up the fact of like 2 or 3 champions on a single team. That's how powerful Nautilus's crowd control can really become used in the hands of a master. We have the Caitlyn pick who's going to be staying very far in the back, so if Nocturne does actually go in on her, it's going to need a little bit of extra range. He's going to single himself out pretty exclusively in that regard. Do you have Corki? Of course, you can Valkyrie backwards as well in case anybody was going to try to engage on him. We have the Gangplank who can build tanky, so we could potentially have the tanky Gangplank build coming out of this one. Maybe even just going for the Trinity Force build to get a little extra tankiness and damage. I'm not gonna predict any more of that one. We'll have to see what Red O Fighter is going to be picking up on Gangplank. And once again, that Anivia pick, she does a decent amount of damage. She has so much to stay in, and even she's gonna have that AoE ultimate as well. So if they can use that AoE ultimate to kind of zone totally worth it into some sort of area that they can get a good engagement on, Nautilus can go in with his infinite CC. Caitlyn can just continuously wail away on the back, and of course, don't forget Gangplank's ultimate, the AoE slow, popping a lot of damage. It could be a very, very interesting team fight phase as we get into this game, ladies and gentlemen. Taking a quick look at the lane matchups, we have a Rumble in the top lane against a Gangplank. I don't think I've seen this matchup for a while, but I'm pretty sure Rumble's going to be able to bully around Gangplank, especially at the early levels. Gangplank's really going to have to rely on that parlay and perhaps last hitting against his tower, so we're going to have to see how well Gangplank can kind of farm under fire, so to speak, in that matchup. Janna and Caitlyn against Corki and Soraka is the kind of matchup I'm going to have my eye on because it's something you don't see every day at all. First off, you don't see Caitlyn being picked anymore. Second off, you see Corki going with Soraka, but you usually see Corki going with like a Leona or an Alistar or a Blitzcrank or someone super, super aggressive. That Soraka is going to be giving him infused, like I said before, to spam all of his spells to his heart's content. He's going to have so much poke over that lane of Caitlyn and Janna. However, Janna has the dispositioning ability, and Caitlyn has the range that I really don't know if Corki's going to be able to basically say worth it and harass down Caitlyn without taking some sort of damage in an exchange of his own if he's going to be using those spells. Once Corki hits 6, though, he has those rockets. There's going to be a lot of harass coming down. And Janna, even though she has a shield, is not a sustained champion. And not a sustained support. So once again, we could potentially have Caitlyn taking a bit of damage as we get progress into the later stages of the game. But we are just going to have to find out, ladies and gentlemen. And as we transition into the loading screen, gives me a quick second to take a quick drink. But Hextech, Anivia, Safari, Caitlyn being picked up as skins. Gonna have to see right here. There was a Nautilus. There's a Corki. You're gonna see his Karthus have a skin. There is Phantom Karthus. You are Phantom Lord, sir. We'll have to see if the skins are going to be the ones who wins right now. Wraithfire taking a little bit of extra time to load right here. Let's give us more time to talk a little bit of matchups. Nautilus, a little bit of a slower jungler. Nocturne, a little bit of a faster jungler. Nocturne does have gank potential at level 3 or 4 if he picks up that fear. However, his real gank potential comes at level 6. Same thing with Nautilus. He can gank at level 3 or 4 if he chooses to, but his real gank potential is going to be at level 6 when he gets that depth charge. Nocturne, of course, when he gets the Paranar, will be able to die down on somebody and wind up dealing a lot of damage, sealing them out of a fight. And if he does get a gank down into the lane, it's very, very deadly. Nautilus is going to have the dredge line and then the staggering blow to stun. On top of this, he's going to have a depth charge to knock people up in the air. He's going to have his E to just really sit there and slow people down even more. And you can already see how much damage that Nautilus is going to be, how much crowd control, not even damage, that Nautilus is going to be having effect on in a lane. So if he's able to land a dredge line, that is going to be lights out for basically whoever he's going to be ganking. So very dangerous junglers on either side, and they're going to have to play extremely, extremely passive, or, maybe just get some wards, try to figure out what those junglers are going to be doing, where they're going to be going on the map, and what is going to happen for this team. Haven't talked too much about the mid lane matchup. We have an Anivia against a Karthus. Kind of feel like it's going to be a bit of a farm fest. Karthus is going to sit there, turn his defile, lay waste away, and potentially just harass Anivia if he gets opportunity to place down a good wall. Anivia, in the meantime, she's not necessarily the most farming champion, is going to have to use those spells to really kind of combat the fact that Karthus is going to be pushing her back to her own tower. If Karthus does overextend just a little bit to try to harass down on Anivia, she has the damage potential to really burst down Karthus in these regards. However, Karthus has the burst potential to take down Anivia, so it's going to be a very interesting dynamic in that mid lane. We're going to have to see, is the farm farming kind of global presence ever threatening Karthus Ultimate going to be the one that prevails in the mid lane, or is the Anivia that we seen do so much work last game for a different team going to work the same for Acerbic Revolution? And we do have everybody's at 100%, which just means the game is waiting for me to drop into spectator mode, and then we'll get underway. I do believe this is the round of 32. It is the 64-team single elimination bracket, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be going through the round of 8 with me. My name is Optimus Tom. Hello. Hi. How's everybody doing? And after that, we're going to be switching over to the man forecourt Jester for the semifinals and finals. So, ladies and gentlemen, we still have a lot of Amateur League of Legends Cup action going your way. So don't forget, guys, to stay tuned. We're going to have this going on pretty much all day. Thank you once again for tuning in to the Summer's Rift Amateur Cup, once again sponsored by ECG or UCG on top of Raid Call and Cyber Sports Network. You have a lot of different tournaments out there to watch today. I'm very excited you guys have tuned in to watch me this time around. There's a TSM Invitational going on. We had the ESL going on in Poland. There's, the Olympics and a lot of StarCraft 2 tournaments going on too. So happy you guys have decided to sit here and listen to me instead. Both teams, in the meantime, just going about their own ways to protect their junglers. Nocturne is going to be starting at his wolves, going to a early blue buff. He's going to use that to move through the jungle a little bit quicker. Nautilus is going to need that blue buff a little bit more reliantly than Nocturne will to go through his jungle. We have seen Hotshot GG actually using a red buff first Nautilus build while he was playing at MLG Anaheim to some very much effect, as he did actually take his team all the way to 6th place, or 2nd place. Wow. So he can't exactly be faulted for that one, but still, Nautilus usually known to start at the blue buff. We do see here that he is going to be starting his own wolves, so a little bit of a passive play compared to the aggressive play we saw in game number 1 of this tournament, ladies and gentlemen. So, nothing too much going on. Corky just got taunting in the bush over here. Gangplank, he's gonna place a ward. No, he doesn't have wards. He's actually just acting as a ward of his own. Smart enough though. Totally worth it. Has placed a ward over here by their own red buff. No wars going on the opposite side, actually coming out from Acerbic Revolution, so they actually could be susceptible to a little bit of invade if they so choose to. Rumble walking up rather than recalling and then going back to base. It's interesting enough. Gangplank did actually take a little bit of damage. We see him come in here and he took a Wraith, I believe. So Gangplank, taking a little bit of damage for his troubles. We'll get into lane with a little bit of an experience bonus over this Rumble, in addition to one more CS. So in the middle lane, we see Karthus and Anivia getting into the groove up here. Rumble's going to be coming from behind on Gangplank. Wonder why Gangplank has so much damage taken on already. Gangplank will have a window of opportunity to harass out a Rumble in the beginning stages of this game, but like I said, if we have a little bit too much damage coming out from Rumble as the levels progress, Gameplank's going to be in a little bit of a bad spot. See that parlay already doing work against Rumble. Caitlyn and Janna in the bottom lane against Soraka and Corgi. Like I said, this is another matchup I want to keep my eyes on because I haven't seen a Caitlyn in competitive play in like 16 million fortnights. So I really don't know how it's going to be going on, and I kind of want to learn. She's doing a really great job just CSing and last hitting against Corky. Corky, of course, taking a lot of damage, having to get the heals from Soraka right there. Look at this. Caitlyn just continuing to poke away as Corky's trying to run away. Does not want to have to actually... No, I don't even think he has Valkyrie yet because he is only level 1. So getting him Valkyrie out of there. So we do see a very nice zoning job being done by Caitlyn right here. Corky's not able to get aggressive right here. If they had maybe a Leona or a Blitzcrank or an Alistar or a Mai, we could probably see a little bit more of that aggressive Corky play, but Corky's not going to be super effective at this kind of lane until he hits level 6 and has that ultimate to really stack a lot of damage down on the both Caitlyn and Janna. Anivia being pushed back a little bit to her tower. Is talking about this in Champion Select. How Karthus is going to be content pushing this tower. Anivia, she's going to lose out a little bit of a CS that way because Karthus is just going to push the minions so far. Anivia does not have the same kind of wave clearing power until she is level 6. Nautilus has picked up both of his own buffs. Nocturne in the meantime has done the same thing, actually going back already. Has boots and cloth armor in addition to 2 health potions. Nautilus in the meantime had started with his boots and 3 health potions and still continuing to walk around his map. So ever the slightest advantage in favor of Sir Nautilus. Potentially going around here from the mid lane for a gank. We see a ping going down. Nautilus wants blood and he wants it first, ladies and gentlemen. So he is going to be winning in this bush over here. Interestingly enough, a slight 500 gold advantage already for the blue team. Here he goes, going in. Dredgeline goes down. There is the E for the slow. Does not land a staggering blow. Is exhausted instead, but the Anivia wall comes out. Karthus has to use his own wall and flash out of the way. So Burning Flash is successful gang as far as Nautilus is concerned. But top lane Gangplank is getting feared. He's getting everything going down. He eats an orange and is not going to be K. He's getting towered over here by Rumble. Rumble will fall because of that, and the Ignite does not tick down on Gangplank. Miscalculation by Rumble. misaggression by Nocturne, not continuing to follow through there. If both of them had been there, they probably would have gotten the kill. Because they were not, that is a dead Rumble and First Blood to that Gangplank, and that's going to be the advantage he needs right here. Nautilus getting the E down to pop the shield. There goes the staggering blow and the dredge line. Nautilus is there. Nautilus is chasing on Nocturne. He is very low. That's the thing going to mess up all the aim, ladies and gentlemen, but he will be able to get out of there A-OK, and Nautilus not netting himself a kill in that engagement at all. But still, right now, that is Acerbic Revolution proving a little bit of an advantage over. Totally worth it at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, as they take the early First Blood and early gold advantage, about 800 or 900 at this point in time of the game. Bottom lane, this Caitlyn just continuing to poke down Corki, is drawing like minion aggro because of this and has to kind of walk back and forth. You know, she is still a little bit more experienced than Corki. You know, pretty much staying on track because of that one still, but don't really know how that's going to pan out in the end, ladies and gentlemen. There's some, you know, the thing is with these traps that Caitlyn's putting down, if she's putting them in the bushes, she is going to have a little bit more lane presence because of this. Janna's going to want to try to get those bushes so that Caitlyn can be safe and be aggressive on Corki without having to worry about, you know, all of a sudden coming out of a bush there's somebody or something like that. So if Caitlyn's able to just put those traps down, look, Soraka falling on a trap right there. Looks like just the Howling Gales and the harassment there, built over a Peacemaker on top of this. Just doing enough harass to keep Corki back at his tower. Taking a look at the CS of that lane. Corki ahead though, 33 to 21, and that is something that a lot of newer players do. They over-aggress rather than falling back and trying to pick up the CS that they need in order to get into the later stages of the game. So Caitlyn, you know, being very aggressive against Corki, he has the sustained support though, whereas she does not. Eventually Corki's going to start winning these trades, especially with the armor buff coming out from Astral Blessing on Soraka. Level 3 of that. Level 2 of Infuse. There's a silence going down on Caitlyn at a crucial moment. She's not going to be able to net away. And that is going to be a pickup kill in that bottom lane for Corki and Soraka. So interesting dynamic going on there. If Caitlyn had been focusing a little bit more on last hits, although her lane is naturally pushing because of the way she's able to knock out the minions with her headshot quicker than Corki can. She's naturally pushing the wave just the slightest bit, so it's going to be a little bit of a deficit she has to get back on. We see a Nautilus in the gank in the top lane. Dredgeline sealing the deal as Gangplank ultimate also goes off. Rumble paying for his sins once again. That is 2 kills for Gangplank, 2 kills to none in favor of Acerbic Revolution, taking an early lead in this game. Now it's about a 1.5k gold advantage coming up from about that 800 or 900 one. So this is a sizable lead at this point in time. Nautilus is not doing the ganking right now. Wants to Dredgeline down on Karthus. Gets him, but he's in tower range. He's going to just have a Dredgeline pop the E and then walk out of there. Look, he was committed to that gank. He wanted to see it through. After the gank went down, he said, okay, now we can get out of here because I say so. See, he's actually going to back up and things will return to normalcy after that one. Now the tables have turned in this bottom right here as Corki and Soraka now being the aggressors upon Janna and Caitlyn, pushing down on top of them and pushing them back to the turret. Caitlyn, you know, once again taking a look at the CS. She's at 33 to Corki's 52, falling further and further behind. Phosphorus Bomb is doing a decent job of clearing waves now that he's the one trying to push the lane rather than trying to keep the lane pushed in his favor. So saving those spells conservatively, using them when he wants to try to get some sort of advantage against Caitlyn, working out extremely well for him. Mel, looks like over here, the one to donate the blue buff away to Anivia, but the Golem actually resets, and he's going to continue walking around. Does actually take some damage on Anivia, but Anivia hopefully will finish off this blue buff, and there we go, using the Q to pick that one up. Karthus, in the meantime, is not going to be able to get his blue buff as his jungler has just recalled. Nocturne actually recalling a lot, has picked up Modred's Razors, has his boots and 2 health potions. Nautilus, on the other hand, has his Philosopher's Stone. Take a quick look at the National Bank of Nautilus. He does actually have 450 gold in the bank still. Could go back and pick up a Ruby Crystal going for a Heart of Gold. We're going to have to see what he decides to build. What is his flavor? Corki going back, immediately picking up BF Star to try to push some sort of advantage with the sustained support over the non-sustained support. Caitlyn with no items right now, so that's very deadly. There's the Nocturne ultimate and the Valkyrie forward. There's Caitlyn getting feared, and oh, the Janna ultimate knocks Nocturne towards her. There's a Karthus ultimate is not going to take down Caitlyn. Caitlyn somehow living through that entire engagement right there, as that could have went very terribly for Acerbic Revolution. However, the Karthus ultimate, not enough damage at the early stages of the game to pick up a kill on Caitlyn, but still, pretty good execution here by Totally Worth It, and they might make it totally worth it if they're able to capitalize on the fact their bottom lane has pushed out, and they could go for this dragon attempt. Nautilus coming down to this bottom lane, still only has about half health, but Nocturne and Karthus favoring go towards the mid lane instead. They could have been a very easy dragon acquisition by them, but they're choosing not to do it this time. Looks like in the bottom lane though, they're not throwing this aggression. Nautilus taking a little bit more damage, but he does have that Titan's Wrath shield to help him sustain a little bit of the poke damage coming out from Soraka and Corki, so he's going to be A-okay at that one. Nivea missing a little bit of a Q there. Actually, we see a little different of a Nivea build right here. She's been very aggressive, going for a Frostbite and Flash Frost first, rather than going for that Max Crystallize that we saw the Nivea last game doing. Nivea last game was all about positioning and walling people off and creating awkward situations. The Nivea of this game, not necessarily going to want to do the same exact thing. She might want to do a little bit more damage for her team, as like I said, they do have a Gangplank over here. He is getting decently fed, but he has gotten a Fade on top of his Philosopher's Stone. So he is building a little bit tankier and building a little bit more towards the later stages of the game. Anivia wants to be dealing a little bit more damage to kind of compensate for that one. Otherwise, her team is going to be too tanky, not deal enough damage, and eventually they will lose in team fights. Caitlyn has gone back, picked up double Doran's Blade on top of a longsword, whereas Quickie has that BS sword, so Corki 132 damage, Caitlyn 110. Every 8 attacks, Caitlyn's going to catch up a little bit to Corki in that regard, but not nearly enough, as you know, just continuing Corki with his advantage in CS, 73 now to Caitlyn's 51. That is something that Corki is probably going to keep up for the rest of the game at this point in time, just because of his pushing power with the Infuse, the Phosphorus Bombs. Now that he has his ultimate, he can harass down on top of Caitlyn like no other. Nocturne watching over the mid lane over here, gets tagged with a Q from Anivia, and then the Frostbite. That is a lot of damage coming out right here, as Anivia's Flash Frost and Frostbite combo going in there. Ooh, Nautilus wants to get a gank off. Is he going to get silent, actually, from Bio-Infected, so there's going to be no dredge line right now. Corki has to be careful, though. If he does step in front of that creep, that is going to be an auto dredge line and potentially an auto kill right there, but very nice job just keeping behind the creeps and firing away to harass a little bit, keeping Nautilus out of his lane. Nocturne now coming around is going to see Nautilus here, ties him with the Q right there. Is he going to get the Fear off? Fear is in range. Nautilus goes back, staggering blow, but he actually spell shields it. Nautilus is taking a lot of damage. Karthus comes in from the mid lane. There is a wall right there. Gangplank ultimate goes all the way down from the top lane. Flash Frost and Frostbite get the kill onto Nocturne as they force him back into that Caitlyn and Janna. So there is a kill that picked up once again for the blue team, Acerbic Revolution. That is 3-0 in their favor right now. Roughly a 3,000 gold lead for them. And that is what they want to do. They want to get to his advantage. They want to push that they're carrying Caitlyn. She's ridiculous at the end of the game because of her range and potential damage with that headshot on top of an Infinity Edge and a Phantom Dancer, but they got to get there first, and this early advantage that they're pushing on a team that could be a little more aggressive than they are is a fantastic thing. Nautilus, like I said, crowd control, not a lot of damage. Nocturne, usually think he has a little bit more damage than most junglers, maybe more along the lines of like a Shyvana jungle, so if he doesn't get those kills from these ganks, he's going to fall behind a little bit. Even just taking a look at his CS right now, 48 compared to Nautilus is 51. He's down in CS to a Nautilus when Nautilus jungles slower than he has. Nautilus also has 2 assists to his name, whereas Nocturne has 1 death. So Nocturne's going to have to step his game up a little bit. See, in the meantime, Ultimate going off on the top lane here. Nocturne does come down. The Rumble is taking a lot of damage from Gangplank, will actually die, but that is going to feed Nocturne a killing spree, though. So a 1-for-1 in top lane. I'm sorry, I panned over the bottom lane because I saw that Corki had the Valkyrie out of something right there, getting extremely low from the Janna Caitlyn combination. So, shining moment right here for Team Totally Worth It as they do pick up a kill of their own. Now 4 kills to 1 still in favor of Acerbic Revolution. 15.9 to 12.4k gold. Like I said, ending that killing spree on Gangplank in the top lane means that Nocturne now at 2.8k gold, whereas Nautilus, basically the same exact thing. So that kill kind of evening things up a little bit for them. He is a little bit ahead in CS now too, as he had a bit of time to farm up in that top lane and a little bit in the mid lane as of earlier in the game. Nautilus with an early Oracle's Elixir wants to run around and wants to try to deny vision, give his team some sort of positional advantage in this game, but there's actually no wards going down except for one right here. See? Right here. By a Team Totally Worth It. So not exactly thinking it's worth it to get wards. So I'm just going to continue to eat these cupcakes. Apparently she's a hungry unicorn thing. Getting kind of low, but her heal's actually off cooldown, so you could use that at any point in time. Maybe try to bait out Caitlyn and Janna, or maybe seeing if there's a jungler around to get into some sort of bad position. Karthus finally going to come over here and get his own blue buff. Has a catalyst to his name on top of his boots of speed. And Nivea with the same exact build up is going back on her own. Has picked up a blasting wand, so she is well on her way to a Rite of Ages right now, as is Karthus. Rumble in the top lane going immediately into, I don't know. Hextech Revolver and Amplifying Tome does not make Will of the Ancients anymore. That makes nothing. That needs to be a Blasting Wand in order to make Will of the Ancients. So I don't think he's going for a quick Will of the Ancients. Perhaps going for a Haunting Guise that uses an Amplifying Tome. Or maybe even just getting the Amplifying Tome for a later at time Rylai's Crystal Scepter. Either of those items would be a very good thing to have on Rumble. Rumble, one of the champions that really benefits from both the health and the magic penetration bonuses on that Haunting Guise. Meanwhile, going back to the bottom lane over here, Corki continuing his advantage, 94 CS to 85, only 9 ahead compared to the 20-something he was ahead before, but still, that is an advantage for Corki that he is going to try to keep regardless throughout the entire game. Nivea getting the second blue buff of her game there from her jungle Nautilus. I guess Nocturne took another blue buff away from Karthus, or there's some sort of delay on it, as Karthus only got his recently, and then Nivea's was up again after we saw her taking it, while the golem reset on her. So, we all remember that point in time. Good times, ladies and gentlemen. Good times. As you see right here, Caitlyn and Jonas continuing to wail away on creeps on the bottom lane. Corki and Soraka waiting in the bush right here. Gonna have to see what happens. Oh, Soraka reveals herself a little bit, and now they're actually gonna back off. There's a trap coming down. They do see a Nautilus coming down, and Nautilus not gonna step in the bush, so he's not actually gonna see that ward. The ward will stay to live another day, and Nautilus, you know, will not be able to do that. Oh, a lot of damage coming down actually here. A lot of damage coming out on the top lane. Gangplank going down for a tower dive. Rumble desperation ultimate goes off in the wrong direction, and even so, I don't think he was going to be able to pick up a kill on Gangplank. Gangplank just too tanky, too much health during that engagement right there. Rumble, judging by the fact his creature's already up here, I guess just pushed a little bit too far. Gangplank really punished him for that one. So Rumble falling down under his own tower. That is 4 kills to 1 in favor of Gangplank, and I thought this Rumble was going to have a really good matchup against Gangplank. Not really going to be coming to fruition right here. I guess those parlays are just too much, and the nature that Gangplank is playing is very, very smart and very, very heads up. He's capitalizing on the smallest of Rumble's mistakes and really making a huge advantage out of them right now. Huge advantage for his team, by the way. It's about a 5k gold advantage at 16 minutes in this game. Maybe a tagging with the wall. Flash Frost goes off, but does not land home, so no Frostbite combo for that one. Nocturne actually trying to get his own, well, it's a fight by his blue up here. Gangplank ultimate goes off. Nautilus is given chase. Staggering blow does land, actually. I'm actually not going to continue to chase this one. Rumble now coming in all the way from the top lane. He did respawn and immediately come down here. No ultimate in fray, though, but the rest of the team not necessarily knowing that one. Does not want to get caught out of position on that Rumble ultimate, so they're going to wisely back off here. Caitlyn, though, she's going to want to keep going into here. There's a lot of damage coming up. Piltover Peacemaker and a Yordle Snapchat go off on the Rumble. Corki taking a little bit of damage as well. And Nivea's going to put a wall in the middle of the lane. That way. Not this way. That way. As to split them up into slow and merging oncoming traffic right there. Looks like a lot of her harpoon harassment coming out from this Rumble. He did actually pick up a Kage's lucky pick. I guess you're going to see Deathfire Grass Rumble, but he's just trying to get some sort of GP10 advantage to counteract the fact that Gangplank's abusing him. And because of this, he's so low in levels, but a nice Soraka will save him. There's a wish going off from there, too. Corki now coming and picks up the kill on Nautilus. Now the Soraka taking down the support character. Karthus ultimates and takes out the Caitlyn. And Nivea will actually pick up a kill on Rumble finally. But then Corki taking down the egg on a Nivea. And just when we thought Acerbic Revolution had a very decisive lead, all of a sudden, totally worth it. Comes in, takes a team fight, takes a dragon. Nocturne picking up an Oracle's Elixir on top of all this. And they are evening up the gold cap just a little bit. 23.1k, 6 kills in a tower for Acerbic Revolution, the blue team, who priorly had a very large lead over. Totally worth it with 5 kills, 0 towers, and 19,000 gold in their favor. So we're going to have to see, is this going to be some sort of advantage like SSTD did in the previous game, or is it going to be some sort of advantage that they are able to keep, whereas SSTD was throwing it away last round? We're going to have to see for that one. Gangplank in the meantime continuing to split push in his top lane, gets the second tower super low. We see a Sheen on him, so he is going for that Trinity Force, more damaging but still kind of tanky Gangplank build. Going to be interesting to see if he goes for like an Infinity Edge or Bloodthirster after that, or if he goes more down the lines of like a Randuin Zone or even a Frozen Mallet. We'll have to just see what Gangplank is going to be capable of at this point in time. Ping's going down. Looks like the enemy team does spy a Nautilus walking out towards their jungle just to keep tabs on him. They want to keep everybody alive in the vicinity. So he's going to be, oh, looks like Corki getting a little bit cocky right there. Good thing there was no stun or hard card control coming out from the rest of Caitlyn and Janna. Don't really have it in their repertoire. Corki would have been in a really bad place, but that is something that Corki is going to be able to do. He just has this mobility and freedom right now because their lane is so passive and so farm oriented. Caitlyn, interestingly enough, going for boots of speed to counteract the fact she's missing a little movement speed. Might want to see a choice like a Nunu next time or something to see if there's a Blood Boil going down in Caitlyn, and if that is going to nullify that, well, she's able to get Berserker's Greaves, so therefore she can get even more increased attack speed, which is something that Caitlyn is going to want to get because she has a relatively low attack speed in comparison to other range carries. Karthus pulling this blue buff into the woods over here. Caitlyn's going to steal it with a Piltover Peacemaker. Corki's taking a lot of damage. Wall of Pain goes down from Karthus. That is a very nice pickup there by the blue squad. Acerbic Revolution as Caitlyn denying resources to Karthus. Oh my gosh, we miss a fight over here as Gangplank takes down 2 people. The price of 1? What happened over there? There's a teammate going down here in the mid, over here by the blue buff though, as Corky's getting tagged with a lot of damage from Nautilus. We're gonna go back to that Gangplank fight in just a second, ladies and gentlemen. But a little bit more aggression. Okay, now we gotta go back over here. Where is this? I wanna say here. Alright, here we go. Gangplank gets an engagement here on Nocturne after harassing Rumble out a little bit. Nocturne trying to get the fear off and damage. Orange is okay, and a parlay and an auto attack picking up a double kill for Gangplank. That is what we missed, ladies and gentlemen. And then, of course, you saw the fight over here as we're jumping back to live. There we are. And what do you know? Jumping back to live just in time to see the bottom tower going down. And on top of this, the second top tower goes down. So now, Acerbic Revolution pushing advantages on all fronts right here. 8 kills to 5. This is something that the team from last game on the blue side was not able to do, whereas SSTD was able to really push their advantages and come back into the game. Whereas right now, you know, Acerbic Revolution is just giving Totally Worth It no opportunities to go in at all and try to capitalize on any of the smallest advantages they are getting. So really great job. Now this one middle tower right now, extremely low. Wouldn't be surprised to see Janna shield and tap it down. There's Janna tapping it down without the shield, doesn't need it. And that Anivia now with the wave clearing power at level 6. This Nautilus with this crowd control. Just so powerful right now. Caitlyn just standing in the back row, wailing away. Has picked up a BF sword of her own in addition to her long sword she still has from earlier in the game. Corky in the meantime just went straight Infinity Edge. No other items to his name. So although he deals damage and does have a decent amount of crit damage, he needs some way to do it. Look at Rumble, just too underfarmed, too underpowered right now. Has 64 CS to this Gangplank's 181. That is a Gangplank with a null Negatron cloak specifically for Rumble and Karthus, and it's just wailing away on this team. 6-1-1. Trinity Force already built. Once his parlay procs is going to be dealing ridiculous amounts of damage to the enemy team. So Gangplank very so much fed at this point. There's a very nice equalizer going down there. Nocturne ultimate goes down. This could be the engage they need. It looks like they are going to take down Rumble almost instantly though. Nautilus getting low. He is the focus of the fight. That is not who you want to focus, and Nivea will eventually take down Nocturne. Corgi coming back into the fray will take down Nautilus. Now Karthus trying to chase away Anivia. He cannot do it. Triple kill for Anivia. Ultimate goes up. Anivia is going to not die. She doesn't get eggs. She doesn't die, but the rest of the blue team extremely low. Gangplank's still at about half HP right there, so he is going to try to cover their escape. Caitlyn is doing a nice little pills over Peacemaker and Caliber net to get out of there, but still, whew, Anivia did not die in that fight. I did not expect that one. So that is a very good team fight in favor of Acerbic Revolution, now bumping them up to 11 kills to 6, 32.4k to 23.3k, and almost 10k gold advantage. That's about 9k gold advantage at this point. As 4 towers to none, and even this big minion wave you're watching in top lane, just not able to get there in time to push down the top tower. It was still at way too much health regardless of anything. So that is still a huge advantage for Acerbic Revolution. We're going to see, is Totally Worth It going to be able to come back into this one? Like I said, Corky, no real items besides his damage. Soraka has a Heart of Gold and it's and a Philosopher's Stone. She needs a Shrelly's Reverie to really control the flow of this one. Nocturne has the Wriggles Lantern and a pair of Mercury Treads. He's gotten Brawler's Gloves that is signaling to me he's getting an Avarice Blade for a Ghost Blade. Perhaps I might have wanted to go for the Brutalizer first, but, you know, Nocturne knows what he's doing in the jungle there. If he gets the Avarice Blade because he feels behind, he will get a little bit of gold, but only if his team can help him stay in the game that long. Rumble with a Kage's Lucky Pick and Hextech Revolver has an additional amplifying tone for I don't even know what at this point in time. I'm going to assume he's going to be getting a Rothize Crystal Scepter as he needs to be tanky in some sort of way, and Sorcerer's Shoes to really let the magic penetration go through. Gangplank already has decided to get a Banshee's Veil on top of his Trinity Force. He is a powerhouse. At 23 minutes and 40 seconds into the game, he has about 2.5k HP and is hitting for 229 without that Sheen proc, which he can get every 3 seconds. So every time he parlays, that is a massive amount of damage as the blue team just exerting their might over Dragon right here. Acerbic Revolution taking that down with ease. As Ping's going down right here. Looks like Soraka and Corgi caught right here. Grogsoak Blade, in addition to those fake procs from the Trinity Force, dealing a lot of damage, and Caitlyn seals the deal with an ultimate right there. Ace in the hole. Soraka goes down. That is now a team member down for Totally Worth It. There are 5 members on the map still. for Acerbic Revolution. They're just going to be content taking this blue buff away from the enemy team, continuing to deny resource, continuing to push them further and further back into their base. Eventually, all that's going to be left for Team Acerbic Revolution is to take down the Nexus. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to see how quickly that is going to go, or can totally worth it, make this game totally worth it for our viewers at home. And are they going to stage an amazing comeback into this one? Second middle tower does go down. Caitlyn actually going all the way up to the wall with the Caliber Net rather than trying to escape over wall with the Caliber Net. Very interesting choice there, with a quick little move and a pilt over Peacemaker to lay down a little more harass. Soraka's heal has to go off on Rumble as he took a little bit too much damage with those engagements. Corki's trying to poke back against Caitlyn's poke. Anivia, though, with poke. Gangplank technically has parlay poke. Janna has poke. There's a lot of poke on the team. Rumble can try to respond with some of his Electro Harpoons. Nocturne can try to respond with Qs, asking Corki with his ultimate. And, you know, but still, Karthus has the lay waste. So Karthus finally, oh, look at that, a wall from Anivia right there, catching Rumble out of position. Excellent dredge line, bait line, and sinker. Gangplank taking home the kill right there with a quick little auto attack, and that is another kill net for Acerbic Revolution. They're just camping this mid tower right here from Team Totally Worth It. They do not want them moving. They do not want them breathing. They want that tower. They want the win. Currently about a 12,500 gold advantage. Caitlyn with a ward over the wall, using that range to abuse Corki. Red buff on her means he's getting slowed and taking damage over time as well. Spy it open to go in onto that tower right there. Nivea wall zones everyone else out. Looks like a Nocturne ultimate goes out on Nautilus. The Drep charge does go off on Corki. He's going to be able to Valkyrie out of there though. Nautilus has fallen, so the big tanky character is down right now. Nocturne's taking a lot of damage though. Caitlyn very wisely continues to poke down the tower, and that is going to be a very, very nice event. They lost Nocturne in that engagement, which is something they didn't necessarily want to do. Don't know if Nautilus had the Oracle's Elixir on him at that point in time. That would be kind of really bad for them right there. But, I mean, they trade Nautilus for a tower. Kind of worth it in their eyes, as they're just continue to push this advantage. The way that they are continuing to knock around Team Totally Worth It at this point in time. Trading a hero for a tower, you're not necessarily going to let them get too far back in the game if you continue to deny resources in some other way. Keeping them pinned back in their base like that is also a very, very good thing, because the rest of the lanes have naturally pushed. Now that they're pushing right here, look at this giant range minion wave down here for Caitlyn to sit back and farm with. Caitlyn already going back and picking up her Bloodthirster. Corki in the meantime has been able to pick up a Zeal and his own Vampiric Scepter, so now with a little bit of sustain in those fights, a little bit of attack speed and movement speed, he could be, you know, a little bit more of a powerhouse than he has been after just going straight boots and Infinity Edge. Karthus, interestingly enough, after the Rod of Ages, has rushed for a Hex-Tech Revolver, going to try to go for that double Will of the Ancients competition with Rumble. Rumble has not been able to pick up his own Will of the Ancients yet, though. Rather to stop and go for a Rod Crystal Scepter, now is going to walk directly into a Nautilus and a Janna. There's a Zephyr Slow. Nautilus continuing to well away. Titan's Wrath gets him about the low half health right there with the combo between that and staggering blows. Rumble's just going to shield up and get out of there still, but this is just a predicament that Team Totally Worth It is in. They are put in a defensive posture. Every time they go out, they are completely surrounded or just greeted with the enemy team, so they are always in constant fear, and this is going to be because they're not warding as far out as they need to be. They're warding around their base. They do have a ward down by Dragon, which is alright, but they're just being pushed back so far. This is great advantage. Look at the chunk of damage that Gangplank just took out of Soraka right there. Half health completely gone. Anivia wall, there's a Gangplank ultimate. Everybody tries to get out of the AoEs. In doing so, they back off this inhibitor, and that is another objective completed for Acerbic Revolution. Lots of good stuff coming from them. 41.7k gold to 29,000 gold. 13 kills to 7 in their favor. 6 towers down. The enemy team Totally Worth It not being totally worth it right now, as they do not have a single tower down. Now rotating down here to bottom lane, are going to continue to push up a creep right here. Gangplank has a red buff, an additional BF sword on top of that Banshee's that he went back and got. Nautilus even almost completing a Frozen Heart as he does with the Glacial Shroud, and he actually now has a Negatron Cloak as well to get himself a little bit more magic resistance against the enemy team. Continuing to poke down on this tower. Look at the range from Caitlyn, just doing it ever so safely. Ooh, there's a Rumble ultimate equalizer. Misses, goes across the wrong way, and he gets walled out by Anivia there. Another kill being under the belt of Caitlyn there. 3-1 and 5 on her right now. Not done yet. Dredge line goes down on the card. There's staggering blow. There's the pilt over Peacemaker. There's the ace in the hole. And the Anivia ultimate will take it. Nocturne goes down and only eggs Anivia. Corki's trying to take her down as quickly as possible. Gatling goes up. There's a Janna shield flashing out of there. Will eventually go down, but are they going to pay the price? Gangplank picks up Nocturne. Caitlyn picks up Corki. Caitlyn picks up Soraka. Ace! That is an ace, and that is Acerbic Revolution doing what they do. taking down the enemy team. A 5-for-1 engagement right there, and they have all the free reign in the world to push down. Don't know why they aren't just going straight to the mid lane. Rumble has now respawned. He's the only contention for the next 10 to 15 seconds right here. They are just going to continue to push down this tower, get 2 naturally pushing lanes of super minions. Never a bad idea. Clock says, Karthus is now, well, 6 seconds still left on Nocturne and Soraka. They're going to get this inhibitor. They're going to net themselves more of an advantage. Gangplank popping the ultimate around the Nexus area just to slow down Rumble and continue to slow the creeps in addition to deal damage to them. They pick up that inhibitor, and now it is all up to them. It is a 47.3k to 31.4k, a 16k gold advantage, 8 towers to none, 18 kills to 8, and unless Ace-Big Revolution is going to make a huge throw in the upcoming time, Totally Worth It is going to have a totally hard time coming back into this one. Look at this. Nocturne having to go for a Negatron Cloak, a Ruby Crystal, and an Avarice Blade after all the damage he's been taking, being beaten back and forth at 1, 4, and 5. Soraka, Ionian Boots of Lucidity, still hasn't gotten any items for her team as a support to Shurelya's and Aegis or anything. Corki's stuck at the same items we saw him in before the last 2 team fights. Karthus has picked up a Chain Vest and is not going to do anything with his Hex-Tech Revolver or Rod of Ages. Maybe going for Zanyas to live and try to do a little bit more damage. We'll have to see if he can even complete that item. Rumble going for the Rylai's Crystal Scepter to try to make himself tanky, but has left a couple spare items just lying behind because of this. Hex-Tech Revolver that was never made into a Will of the Ancients. Has a Kage's Lucky Pick to try to counteract the fact that he is so far under farmed. Gangplank 219 farmed, Rumble's 133, and that's because Gangplank has been roaming all game. Meanwhile, on the side of Ace-Big Revolution, they've gone back, they've healed up, they've bought items. Gangplank Infinity Edge on top of that Trinity Force. Look at the damage they are doing to Baron right now. They're only level 13, 16, and 18 the max. Just chunking away on Baron. Caitlyn is going to get the killing blow right there. And that is Ace-Big Revolution with the buff that they need to really start winning this game. There's only 1 lane left up, and Rumble is in it. Ultimate from Gangplank. Oh, he's going to tag a little bit of slow right there. Wow, the Flash still gets tagged, but Parlay has to pop the Equalizer to try to run away. Gangplank, in the meantime, going to eat an Orange K, raises the morale. 3 parlays, knocks down Rumble. That is how much damage Gangplank is doing at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen. Gangplank picking himself up another kill right there. That is his 9th of the game. 9, 1, and 9. I'm pretty sure it's an area code or somewhere. I don't know what. Ace in the hole is going to find Corki, shielding his support. Very valiant move, but now he is below half health right there. Caitlyn dealing 355 damage, has picked up an Infinity Edge on top of all of this. Takes down the turret. Corki trying to do rockets. Nothing is going to come of this one. Depth charge going all the way down onto the Corki, who Valkyried back into the fountain. There are 3 inhibitors down right now, and this is looking very bleak. 4 Totally Worth It right here. That is going to be Ace-Big Revolution taking down this game. Anivia Wall prevents them getting in the fountain. Are there going to be kills? Corki goes down immediately to a Caitlyn within a couple shots. Karthus is taking a lot of damage. Looks like that they're decided to have Gangplank tower dive the platform right there. That is a win for Ace-Big Revolution. They take the match over Totally Worth It. And unless I am entirely misinformed, that was the round of 32. We're going into the round of 16 next, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have another awesome matchup between 2 highly talented amateur teams for you in just a second. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Summoner's Rift Amateur Cup. Big shout outs to our sponsors over at UnifiedGaming.com, in addition to Raid Call. Raid Call is awesome. And of course, the folks over at Cybersports Network, Cybersports.net. You can find the entire brackets for the tournament over there. My name is Optimus Tom. I will be coming back at you for the round of 16, the round of 8, and the quarterfinals. We'll be passing it off, of course. You can see there my man, Forecourt Jester will be the homeboy taking you into the semifinals and finals later on, which will be best of 3. These are all best of 1 matches, ladies and gentlemen, so we'll be jumping into a round of 16 match between 2 other teams as soon as they invite me into the match, and we'll be getting underway with more of the Summoners Rift Amateur Cup right here on Unified Comp Gaming Twitch TV stream.